What's up, y'all? What is up? Welcome, welcome, welcome to Generally Irritable. Ah, yay, everybody. This is so exciting. Yay.
That was
We
awesome.
are really, thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. I would like to say I have a very talented team of professionals that I work with. I am particularly proud of that one. I saw you jamming out in the background.
It's
Dude,
so catchy.
it passes the car test, okay? You put this in your car. It is a banger, okay? You're gonna love it. Ladies and gentlemen, go to YouTube. Link is in the description. I'm really excited to have Miss Latina Libertarian with us on the show today to talk about the Libertarian Party. Were you at the convention? I'm sorry, I didn't even ask you that. Did you get to go this year?
I was not at the convention, but I was very active in the back channels that we have as part of, as part of the Mises Caucus, providing support and helping with communications and all. And plus, I was watching the live streams and stuff like that. So I was not there physically. I was definitely there in every other way.
So this was my thing was, Donald Trump, love him or hate him. Okay. When I saw the clip of him up there and them booing him, and he was like, well, you can either be winners or you can continue to be losers, whatever you want to do. And I was like, oh, wow. Okay. So has the Libertarian Party, has any party that you're aware of ever had another nominee, a nominee for another party come speak at their convention?
I'm not sure about other parties. Oh, shoot. Can you hear me?
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not sure about other. What the hell?
What?
I don't know. It was doing something. I'm not sure about other parties, but I can tell you for certain this was the first time for the Libertarian. I doubt it. I doubt it for other parties. But I can tell you with certainty that this was the first time that a former sitting president came to a national convention for the Libertarian Party. And let me provide a little context.
Yeah.
This was huge. This was huge because
huge.
Our chair, Angela McCardle, and the national committee really did a lot of work to get Robert F. Kennedy Jr., Donald Trump, Thomas Massey, Ron Paul. I mean, it was a phenomenal and it was a very successful convention, I will say. And honestly, it wasn't like the libertarians were begging these people to come to our convention. We are now a voting bloc. Libertarians are a voting bloc, not just, LP members, but just kind of libertarians, the general kind of libertarian big L and lower L movement are considered a voting bloc. Certainly the percentage that went to the libertarian candidate last election made a difference for Trump. So I think that's one of the reasons. And certainly Robert F. Kennedy Jr. has been courting the libertarians for a year because he was at PorcFest, which, the Porcupine Freedom Festival, which is in New Hampshire. Vivek Ramaswamy was at PorcFest. Larry Elder was at PorcFest, among some other local politicians that came to PorcFest. So the libertarians have definitely been getting courted. And I will say, in the case of Vivek Ramaswamy, he's a brilliant guy. He's really bright. And I think that I've spoke to him at PorcFest. He listened. And he really did do some serious kind of thinking when he was confronted with certain takes on issues. And he's completely pivoted into a much more libertarian stance. And I think he's smart. And I think he realizes that the future of the GOP is with the Republicans. It's with that
right.
Libertarian Caucus
Yep,
within the
correct.
Republican Party, kind of just going in the direction of liberty and away from, the MAGA socialists, which, someone was holding a sign that said MAGA equals socialist. I know who it was. That was really done just to get people riled up.
Get people being
but just
crazy.
to say, but this was the general context. And just to make this point, in addition to that, the election of Javier Milei in Argentina has had reverberations around the globe, so that now more people are aware of libertarianism and of our economic perspective.
So then how in the fuck did that Chase guy get elected, nominated?
So this is what happened. So part of this, a big part of it, honestly, is the dynamic at a convention. So, we don't do primaries. Like, we select who's going to be that at the convention. And we have a convention that's actually a lot of work, a lot of, party business that is supposed to get done in 2 or 3 days. So a lot
in addition to the nominating
and so
convention?
This year, right? So every other year, right, we have the nomination. So clearly there's a large segment of the liberty movement that is represented in the Libertarian Party through the Mises Caucus. That was one of the great successes of our convention 2 years ago. Was we brought, we call it the Reno Reset, where there was just this huge void, libertarian principles, and those certainly that were based on sound economic policy, like Austrian economics. And so the Mises Caucus came out really out of the Ron Paul revolution and kind of representing this particular brand of libertarianism, like the libertarian wing of the Libertarian Party, basically. And so we were able to successfully get the party. COVID played a big role because the former regime was just bootlicking, just what the powers that be with the lockdowns and with the masking and all of that. But that segment of the party, as much as they were kicking and screaming, that segment of the party still remained, even though there's not necessarily a lot of work on the grounds. They were sabotaging a lot of things through those 2 years on the state level and on the national level. I mean, there's been fraud, there's been theft.
Which, by the way, I heard Archie is rearing his head again, apparently, at the state level in Vermont.
Well, I mean, the former chair decided after not being involved and after not handing over party property that he wanted to be a delegate. And that didn't happen because the membership did not feel, first of all, well, there's a whole bunch of stuff, but just not to go into that. They didn't want him because he doesn't represent the party. He's not involved at all.
He's that left wing of the Libertarian Party, which again, look, you can have a lot. I understand that it's libertarian is a big tent, but I don't understand how you can be for mandates and things like that and be a libertarian. I don't understand that.
I think there's people who call themselves libertarian. I think there's people who want to feel that libertarianism represents something, but but whether it does or doesn't, I think it's questionable. Like, the basic principles of libertarianism are fundamental principles are, self-ownership, the non-aggression principle, voluntarism, and free market economics. Like, it's pretty simple. And once you start with the apologetics of, well, I don't think the government should mandate masks, but I'm wearing one, and all of this talk, it's kind of like you've already swallowed the garbage that the regime has been shoveling down everyone's throat. Like, you're not. The astuteness of the narrative is not, to counter the narrative, to be able to say this is BS is not there. Yeah. And so that's one of the issues in terms of the final selection of who's now currently the presidential and vice presidential candidate. That just happened to be because the first day of the convention, you had this segment that basically took up hours and hours by, through different procedural tactics to delay business. Saturday, business was also delayed, but Saturday was when, Donald Trump was going to be there. So we had to be done at a certain time, and it was late, like it still went late. And then Sunday, you had all of this leftover business, and then selection didn't start until the afternoon. And, a lot of people, they left. So this was one of the issues, is that a lot of people were leaving on Sunday because they couldn't, right? They had to go back to work on Monday.
Yeah.
Some people have
whatever.
they're with their families. So that's the other reality. And that was one of the tactics of wait them out. And so, but even with all of that, Michael Rechtenwald, who was the Mises candidate, was still the front runner. What ended up happening is, as what happens with primaries, is you have kind of the backroom deals of okay, it looks like you're not going to make it, but if we work together, if you'll be the VP, all of that, right? That happens in every primary. And so what happened was that agreement was made, and then, but it wasn't honored. So where you had the candidate who's now the VP for Chase had said, yeah, we're going to go with the Rechtenwald. At the last minute, he didn't do that. So then that was kind of the shift. However, I want to make clear that the convention really, in terms of in the bigger picture, I would say it was just 85% successful, because the Mises Caucus still maintain control of the LNC. We still maintain control of the party. Pretty much almost all of the board is the same board as before. Angela McArdle is still the chair, and that really was a huge win. In the bigger picture, with this specific election that we have, we will be lucky if we get even close to the percentage that we had in the prior election, because RFK Jr. is running as an independent. The other thing is, you have a lot of, libertarians, both party members and not party members who would generally vote libertarian, who now are unsure. One of the reasons is because of who was selected, but the bigger part is because Donald Trump and RFK Jr. both promised to free Ross Ulbricht, to pardon Julian Assange, and to pardon Edward Snowden. And so I think that there's being strategies formulated for individuals, not as a party, but for individuals that are going to look at, based on their state, what's the best place for their vote. Now, some people are going to vote yellow no matter what. They don't care, and that's going to be. But the momentum...
Or if they're leftists as well.
Right. And some that recruitment might happen. But I think the disaffected Democratic voter is going to go with RFK Jr. And I think the people that are
Dave Smith already came out and said he was going to be voting for Trump. A bunch of big libertarians were like, I'm voting for Trump.
And the reason for that is because he promised to free Ross Ulbricht.
Right. Yeah.
And the other stuff. And not only that, he also promised to put libertarians in his cabinet.
Yep.
And so, that's really big. And I have to say, there's a lot of clips and stuff that have been shown about Trump's speech. But overall, it was generally very well received. And the contentious, the contentious people that were there that were booing him is kind of that same segment of people that were determined to just...
The Chase people.
I don't want to say that, because I don't think he was disrespectful, but certainly a segment that they have TDS basically. And no matter what the situation was, they were going to do that. So.
Yeah. Did they boo RFK too?
I don't think so.
I'm like, would we have heard about it?
It's possible. But to be fair too, RFK's speech was much better prepared. And I think that some of the critiques that are given to Trump is that he was given kind of a list of about a dozen talking points that are these are the talking points that will reach us. And he did about 5 of them. And then he would kind of go back to his thing. And I think the mistake he made is that instead of focusing on the good parts and the unifying parts in the very beginning, he kind of did this weird wishy-washy of I spoke with, and he puts a random name of someone that is not popular for libertarians, and I'm a libertarian. And kind of so it was like a little.
I'm a libertarian without even trying.
Well,
That's
it was
what
a
they
little
say.
bumpy. Well,
That's what they say.
he said, well, and now look at what happened. But he said something really interesting. He said, if I wasn't a libertarian before, like after being attacked and all of these things that I'm experiencing, like I'm certainly one now. But I sent you the clip of Dave Smith's intro. Dave Smith spoke before. Do you have that? Can you play that? Because it's really great. He did an intro right before Trump. He spoke to the crowd, and I put it in the messenger, and it's about a 3-minute clip, but I'm going to give you the backstory of what happened. So the libertarians were active in their convention, and the MAGA folks were filling up, right? They bought their tickets. Now, the first few rows were saved for the delegates. And what ended up happening is because the convention was running over, some of the Trump supporters started sitting in those front rows. So what happens is now you have delegates that start to show up and their seats are taken. So there was like a big situation of like, now you have to tell like all of these people that they have to move, and they've been waiting. And so there was a little bit of contention, but the communications folks and the volunteers, they dealt with it, and they managed it. But there was already kind of a little bit of tension there. So then Dave Smith comes on, and he kind of is like,
yeah, this is good.
Yeah, okay, you got it?
Yeah.
Tells the
this is good. Okay.
He gives a message to both sides, and I think he did a beautiful job at kind of
He really did.
Trying to bring everyone together and focus on
telling everybody to stop being an idiot.
Well, I think part of it is like we're all there. You go. We're all here for a reason.
You know what? Okay, listen. There's broadly speaking, I think, two groups of people here.
I don't know.
Members of the Libertarian Party.
We have to make sure we don't get copyright for it. Why? I unmuted it. Did you remute me? No. Dang it. Those are I'm trying to make sure that we don't get a copyright strike. So you're supposed to like talk over it and like make commentary. So what I said was those are some enthusiastic Trump supporters.
Yeah.
I have a message for both of you individually. I hear you. To the members of the Libertarian Party, which I am also one. Guys, listen, here's my message to the libertarians here. President is here to talk to you.
Wait, why is it playing on my computer?
Bunch of college leftist sissies. We believe in free speech. So be.
I love that.
I really appreciate that. I will say, I mean, sometimes the Libertarian Party, I have to, oh man, a fly just landed in my kombucha.
Oh,
bruh.
That's the protein they want you to eat, Erica. Get ready.
I better
eat the bugs.
Yeah. Yep. I'll saute them up with some seasoning salt. Little Old Bay.
Yeah, with insects, do you go more like seafood or more like red meat? Like, I don't know how that would work.
That's a good question. Is it white meat?
Is it white meat? It's green meat.
Okay. Here's what I'm saying. I prayed today. I said, Lord Jesus, please don't let the rapture come in my lifetime. Thank you. Well, actually, if it's the rapture, then I guess it's fine. The apocalypse is what I don't want to have happen.
The deep fried sushi roll wraps.
Oh, stop it.
I was like, that is clearly not real. Okay. They don't even take the hair off of it. They don't skin it. That's not real. Oh, whoops. Excuse my language.
They got you cussing,
Sorry,
Erica.
social media. Excuse me. Oh, Lord. I was like, first of all, why does my husband share these things with me? Okay. I was going through my day. I was living my life just fine. And I could have survived forever.
You never needed to know that.
Having seen wrapped sushi rolls.
Oh.
Okay. You know what? Make sushi great again.
Oh my God.
Have mercy.
We are libertarian.
Amen. That's deep.
So, that is, when we were listening to this earlier, the question was, when he says we believe around these parts, was that like a declaration from the Libertarian Party, or is he just like speaking for himself as a LP member?
Yeah, he's speaking for himself as an LP member. But generally, I mean, just kind of looking, I think he was trying to bridge some gaps because certainly before he started, there was, kind of Trump folks that were like, oh, you guys are open borders and you guys are going to let Biden win. And, so there was some of this contentiousness happening.
You're at our house, dude. Shut your face.
No, but not only that, I think he was trying to create a bigger picture of like, we truly believe in liberty. We believe in the principles, like there's principles that really we all agree with. I forgot to mention property rights. That was the other one I forgot to mention earlier. But
private
so I think he was trying to reach out and say, what was done to the president, like we see that as wrong. Like we're not cheering for that kind of thing.
Yeah. All right. Well, where's my mouse? There it is.
In the sushi.
And those people belong in jail.
Lock them up. Lock them up. Here's my question, though. Are they actually going to do it? Because Donald Trump swore up and down, I'm going to drain the swamp. Lock her up. Lock her up.
And then the swamp got bigger.
Bruh, I'm telling you. This is well, why would I believe that anything is going to be different this time?
Right. I don't know. And I don't know if he's had a come to Jesus moment with all of this stuff that's happening. And now with this conviction, I think the sentencing is in July. Obviously, there's going to be appeals because it's absolutely retarded, for lack of a better word, to have 34 counts for the same thing, which was basically
for the same not crime,
which was because it was for mislabeling something as a it's just something that would be maybe a misdemeanor. Clearly, it's just weaponizing the judiciary, and it's just it's Trump has raised like $80 million or something like something crazy. Somebody I think it was, I mean, I don't want to say names, I could be wrong, but like everyone, like someone donated $800,000.
Wow.
To Trump.
Well,
I mean,
this is the thing. They're making him. Oh, sorry.
Right.
Go ahead.
I was like, you could take a wild guess who could donate that much, but yeah, they are making him a martyr.
No.
Oh my God. It says 53 million today.
53 million,
yeah. What I laugh about is the fact that the stuff of that. Like, if Trump was playing nice and he was in there before, all right, well, I want to just attack all these political, opponents and people on the other side. I'm going to try to, play the game and keep peace.
Yeah.
What do you think he has any reason to do that now? Or do you think anybody, period, with any other conservative or Republican or whatever that gets in there, they have all the reason in the world to dismantle the other team when they get
not only the other team, but to dismantle the system, the structure that facilitates it. And if he stands true to his word, if he gets elected and he puts like a few libertarians in there and he's like serious, I mean, they're going to be dismantling the deep state.
Well, see, that's good. That's what I'm saying.
So we'll see, but we'll see. Like, is he serious? Is it mean that the deal is going to be made and it's going to be, whatever it's going to be in the background? We don't know.
I want to join what he's saying. I don't know if y'all catch what I'm saying. Then this man in the deep state is right. The problem is now the Democrats and the progressives said, when you're in power, use lawfare. Use power
to
attack your opponent.
Yeah.
And that's terrible. Like this is
but they've set a precedent now.
Well, now we're a banana republic officially. Right.
Well, and that's what, and now he's threatening to go after his people that are going after him if he gets elected. And we're like, yeah, we're literally asking him to. Why do you think people are donating millions of dollars? Like, we see you. We see you. You're
I was
creating a murder.
right. I was just watching a clip in the Bronx, like they were interviewing people and they were like, oh, what would you guys think? Like, Trump's visit. And they were like, yeah, we want Trump to come visit. We love Trump. Like in the South Bronx.
I see. This is.
They're trying to play that down like it's not.
Yep.
Yeah.
Same.
It's
like
gonna
in
be
Hollywood.
Yeah.
Our friend Siaka, what was he? The chair of the Republican Party of LA or something. Anyway, there was like a whole Trump parade.
Yeah.
And I'm like, no,
Wow.
I didn't see any footage of any Trump parade in Hollywood. Okay. When did that happen? And so they're suppressing this stuff.
Right. Well, I mean, if you get your news on corporate media, I don't call them mainstream media. I think we're the mainstream media. I think the alternative, the podcasts, the social, I think that's mainstream media now because that's where people are getting the information. But the corporate media, obviously, they're just going to keep hiding it. And I mean, the other thing too is, part of this is like the distraction, like the case, because didn't Biden just like okay for Ukraine to like go into Russia or something like this? Like there's all types of stuff that are happening as well, like at the same time that they're not talking about.
And that's how much of this is just a distraction from the warmongering that's happening around the world. So, Yep. One of our viewers, Owen, said the left are loonies. It's true. It's true.
There's a lot of loonies. Yeah. And I think, we have to be fair and, we have some hardcore neocons who don't help the GOP at all.
Yes.
And that's kind of like why
so true.
There's this. And that's part of the reason why so many people gravitated for Trump and they hate him too.
Yeah.
The neocons are not fans of him, but I think he's what they have right now. And so they have to.
It's because he attracts the libertarian leaning, the populists, and they don't want those people. They want it to be they're
just as corrupt as the Democrats.
Republicans.
Right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
They don't want freedom-loving, freedom caucus type representatives, people.
And I was wondering, like, it would have been awesome if like Trump, because Thomas Massey was at the convention and, he's not a fan of Massey.
Yep.
So I thought that would be cool if like they bumped into each other. I mean, and honestly, like he should, Trump probably won't ever apologize, but he should like get on that good side because I think Massey and Rand Paul and some others that are really good in terms of, at least at the minimum, like being constitutionally based pushing for true like minimal government. I think, like Vivek, I think there's a segment that realized that's the future because people are just sick and tired of this machine that just it's more so bloated.
Yeah.
And we can't afford it anymore now because I think the messaging that libertarians have been saying like over the past 20 years since Ron Paul, now that's popular. Now that has surfaced. Like we've infused these talking points that now you have mainstream people like Tucker Carlson talking with Dave Smith and basically saying like, I agree with everything you've just said.
Yeah.
And Tim Pool is platforming libertarians. Pretty much almost all the libertarian candidates were on Tim Pool. And Joe Rogan, and it's funny, I was listening to Joe Rogan, one of the episodes, and he started saying something. It's like, I hate when I sound like a libertarian, but, and then he makes this point, but, so a lot of the messaging is now popular. And I think people are making connection of like, okay, these principles make a lot of sense. And maybe the party isn't, in a position, right? Because it's a third party and that's already challenging. But I think that's why, especially at the local level, and you see this a lot in places like New Hampshire, Kentucky, and some other places where you have like more local races of libertarians who are in the GOP who are get a lot of momentum, and they're winning races, and they're talking about, no, we have to minimize the state. We have to get out of these forever wars. I mean, a libertarian is having a moment. For goodness sake, Thomas Massey introduced a bill to end the Fed.
Shut up.
Right? Yes.
Hashtag end the Fed, y'all.
End the Fed. But that bill is now like, and it's co-sponsored. And so it's in the House, and it's like, so now this conversation is actually happening of like, wait, what is this? And so people are talking about like central banking and you know, cryptocurrency, and like, is this the role of government to try to control, you know, centralized? So, I mean, it's just, and this is what happened in Argentina, where you had like these conversations that people started having, and now, you know, individuals are like, maybe I should, who is, you know, Ludwig von Mises? Who is Friedrich Hayek? Like, maybe I need to read these books. Maybe I need to, you know, listen a little bit and understand like, what is it? Maybe I need to go to antiwar.com and listen to Scott Horton kind of talk about the background of these forever wars and what is behind Ukraine and what's going on in Gaza and Israel. And so, I mean, I think it's just people are so sick of the spoon feeding of the regime rhetoric that comes at the corporate media.
I think the main thing is pain. You've been saying this since forever, but I've never not believed this. But people learn through pain. If people are getting away with something and they're benefiting from being unscrupulous, you don't normally have your come Jesus moment when you're high on coke,
right?
And the stolen goods are in your wallet. It's when you're broke, busted, and disgusted. When your head skips off the pavement, that's when all of a sudden you start to think twice about some decisions. And the American people not being able to afford things, not being able to buy a house, having their businesses shut down. When you
worrying about World War III,
when they saw, I knew this was going to happen when the virus of unknown origin took hold of the country. Because I saw very clearly, okay, these people are telling you what you can and cannot do with your body. And this is not with like time-tested stuff. This is newer solutions to medical issues. I'm trying to dance right now. I'm not dancing. You know, we got distracted.
Yeah. Use the YouTube speak. YouTube speak.
So I was like, if they can tell you what to do with something like that, what can't they tell you what
That's right.
with your body? And I knew that was the beginning of the end because I saw people on all sides having issues. I saw Black people getting mad at governments.
Score.
Yeah.
And then this comes on and Trump comes in and cracks parties and Biden's freaking terrible. And it's like, this is what American people needed to see. Gas prices hike, Brent hike, not being able to afford anything, collide everywhere. You get the searing policies that they're advocating. It's like, that doesn't work, but you have to watch people be deleted for you to understand that it doesn't work, even though we told you 5 years ago. And so this is a painful time. But these are the kind of times that make strong people. And they make
hard times make strong people.
That's right.
Yeah. All right, you guys. Well, Latina Libertarian, Miss Olga, thank you for coming on with us this evening and sharing your insights. Yeah, sharing your insights in the Libertarian Party. What is your handle on X?
So my handle is at LibertyMe15, LibertyMe15. But you can go to my link tree, which is Olga Maria 100, and you can find all of my information on that.
Excellent. And you guys definitely check out the links in the description. If you like this content, you can support it by becoming a subscribe star member. If you've been watching this long, I ask that you like the video. And if you didn't like it, put a thumbs down, and thank you for participating in the algorithm. All right, you guys, we will see you next time.